This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to talk to a number of people about health, ranging from the health of finances throughout the world. We'll be talking about freedom, including freedom from the COVID-19 crisis. And we're going to begin with taking a look at nutrition, but probably from a different perspective. Our guest is the founder of the VEEP Nutrition System. It's used in hospitals in major cities. The guest is Joel Greene. He's been on a number of TV shows. CBS Online, 24-Hour Fitness Magazine has featured him. Joel, nice to finally talk to you on the air. Oh, I've forgotten. His book is called The Immunity Code, Immunity-Centric Approach to Health and Aging. How are you today, Joel?
I'm burrowed up deep in the bowels of the earth where it's still warm, just waiting out the crisis, but doing fine otherwise.
Got it. You know, how are you protecting yourself and your family from COVID-19? Nutritionally.
Yeah, so that's a really excellent question. Your question gets to the nature of immunity itself, which we tend to think of immunity as sort of, for the most part, just being supplemental. Like, you take some vitamin C or you take, some vitamin D, and we kind of have this conception that that's what immunity is. But, I actually took 3.5 years writing on this subject, a book, to help people understand that if you look at the most critical and crucial aspects of health, immunity is right at the center. Specifically, when you look at things like aging, or when you look at things like gut health, or when you look at things like body fat, all of these discussions converge back on immunity as the central driving mechanism. So in a crisis like this, where there's a viral contagion, it's highly virulent, and potentially quite very, very serious. Peak immunity is something that everybody sort of has on their mind, but there really isn't like a lot of great information on what it really consists of. And so I've, in my book, the approach I took was that if you want real health, you have to understand how immunity works. And if you don't, then you're going to do things in the pursuit of health that actually compromise immunity. And when you start down that path, where you're going to quickly go to is to understand that immunity is based on what I would describe as networks or systems, meaning that, when
you're talking about a network or a system within your body. You're using that as an analogy, like to a computer network.
Broad analogy, but let's take the gut lining, for example. So, immunity starts in the gut lining because that's where the outside world meets your body, and it turns out that it's actually something you can control to a very large degree based on nutritional inputs. And so your question was, well, what are you doing, during this crisis nutritionally to help yourself? One of the foundational elements is understanding that in the gut lining there's a key molecule called butyrate, which is the primary fuel for the colon. It's the primary fuel for the cells in the colon, and it's the crux variable that modulates the lining of the gut and helps to produce the bacteria that keep the gut healthy. So you can actually drive health by specifically steering your nutritional protocols towards an immune-centric approach to how you're eating. And an example would be one of the things that we know of that feeds the production of butyrate in the gut are things like very dark phenol fruits. So, for example, blackberries would be a really good example, or raspberries.
That's my favorite. Blackberries happens to be my favorite berry. Daryl, what's yours? Do you have a favorite berry?
I think strawberry would rate right up there.
Got it.
Of course, I'm close to Oxnard, so Strawberry capital of the world.
Right, exactly. It's easy. We can go in and sneak in at night, pick our own strawberries. It works very well, Joel. Gut health is really important. Part of your book also describes aging. And as we age, we're being told now that if you're over 60, you have a compromised immune system. Frankly, I resent that because I think I'm pretty healthy. All right. In the last 2 weeks, I have put on a couple of pounds. At least I think I have. I haven't been able to work out at the gym. I should go for more walks. It is on my plan today. But is it true that as we age, our immune system slows down?
Well, it is true, but what is most true is that immunity and aging are one. They are the exact same thing. They're just two sides of a different coin. Aging can be characterized as an immune-centric issue because effectively what happens is that the exact same things that happen during a localized injury, when you look at the very specific mobilization of immune resources during an injury, the exact same mechanisms take place during aging, but it's like system-wide. It's across the entire body. So in effect, your immune system is treating the body like it's one giant injury. And so what you see with aging is this very specific shift in key mechanisms that drive immunity. I wrote my book sort of around a central mechanism, which is called a macrophage. A macrophage, it's just a big word, but it's pretty easy to understand. It means, macro means big, and phage means eater. So it's just a type of immune cell. But what we see with aging is that populations of these cells shift into different types. And the really interesting takeaway is it's quite controllable. It's something that you, the individual, can steer and direct. And in fact, you can control the elements that are controlling much of the aging process if you understand what they are and how they work. So
let's take a step back. Let's take a step back if we can, Joel. Your background is not necessarily in nutrition. You've studied it, and for many years, but your schooling was in, what's your degree in?
Oh, mathematics.
Mathematics. So how did you get from, balancing somebody's checkbook or doing an algebraic equation into nutrition?
Well, it was something I'd always done from the time that I was a kid, but I was just a consumer, really. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. I was just an early adopter. So, going back to like even just the 80s, a lot of people don't know that that what we think of as keto diets and MCTs and things like that were actually introduced back in the late 80s. And I was just kind of a consumer on the forefront, trying to understand what these things were and putting them to use. And what I found over time was that I kept taking advice, and I kept doing the things I was told to do. And then the net of those things was I'd have short-term benefits and then long-term problems, long-term complications. And so the more I went down that road, the more it put me into really trying to study and understand everything I was being told. And it kind of culminated for me in the mid-2000s where I was running this technology company. I came in very fit. I wound up very fat after about 3 years. And I decided that everything that I had been taught over 30-plus years most of it didn't translate into real life. And that led to this the creation of my nutrition system. And
which is called, of course, VEEP Nutrition. As we wrap up this segment, I'm going to let people know that you can find out more about Joel by going to VEEPnutrition.com. That's VEEPnutrition.com. That's just like the vice president, VEEP. And I think that Joel might be running for office, which is why he picked that. And maybe we should vote for him. We're going to take some time out. We'll come back and talk more about gut health, because I think that's very important as we traverse the crisis of COVID-19. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Don't you dare go away. Visit us at latenighthealth.com.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Be sure to join us at facebook.com/Late Night Health Radio. And you can also find us at LinkedIn/Mark Alyn, MarkAlyn. Our guest is none other than Joel Greene from VEEP Nutrition. I want everybody to know that we are social distancing. I think Joel and I are about 85 miles away from each other, and Daryl and I are about 30 miles away from each other. We're doing this via the internet, maintaining social distancing.
But we're in the same rowboat.
But we are in the same rowboat, but at different ends, right? I like that. We are paddling fast. I'm getting a little dizzy.
It's like a duck, right?
Yeah, it is.
Smooth under the surface, but paddling like hell underneath.
Joel, let's talk about COVID-19 and gut health. Is there any relationship? If I have good gut health, will that protect me, do you think, from having serious complications from COVID-19?
It's a major component in sort of having a foundational, healthy, innate immune system. It's foundational, and yes, it's probably going to confer a very large degree of protection. So COVID-19 works on two different receptors to get into the body. One of them is called the ACE receptor, and that is generally, it's called angiotensin converting enzyme. Generally, that's involved in just fluid and mineral balance, but it's also involved in metabolism. And you find you find ACE receptors in the gut, and you find that the way that COVID-19, or rather SARS-CoV-2, gets into the body is it needs a preponderance of a certain type of receptor that is associated with metabolic dyshealth. So what you're going to see in the gut is that there are two very specific species that you need to have metabolic health. They are bifidobacteria and they are Akkermansia. And when you have a healthy gut, you're going to have a lot of those species. And then when you have a lot of those species, you're going to tend to be very lean for a number of different reasons. So yes,
is that good or bad?
It's good.
It's good to be lean.
It's good to have a healthy gut, and it's definitely good to be lean. If you have a tendency to be overweight or obesity, then you're going to be a little bit more vulnerable to this virus.
Interesting. And of course, you teach how to maintain health, how to drop pounds, and things like that. Going to the market, the week that we are recording this, it's supposed to be the high point here in the Southern California region of the country of exposure to COVID-19. Any thoughts on that? And I have to point out one that I'm not a doctor. Daryl is not a doctor. He is a master, but he's not a doctor. And Joel is not a doctor. But we all have our thoughts. And Joel, I'll ask you, what do you think? Is this going to be a high point, do you think, for contagion?
It's difficult to get a read on the stats. It's just I don't have a clear answer, probably, but it may be that it may well be in hindsight a year or two from now we look back and we realize that the thing was much more prevalent than anybody realized. That's my hunch that that's probably going to turn out to be the case. So it's difficult to kind of get a read on it right now. But there's a number of ways of looking at sort of keeping yourself safe, and some of them are kind of counterintuitive. One would be that if you look at the vast majority of people that seem to contract it, roughly about 85%, they're over it very quickly. It doesn't really last that long. It doesn't really get that serious. But then you have a smaller percentage where it's very, very, very serious. So, I think in hindsight, maybe a year or two from now, we'll have our arms around this in terms of how to accurately characterize it. Right now, it's just too much of a moving target.
And it seems to me also that it seems to me that the people who are dying, I just saw an article this morning about teens are being affected by this, as well as older people. And it seems to me that it would be due to weakened immune systems. Kids are socializing more than they're not stopping that. They've been on the beach, for example, with spring break. Things like that. Older people are just more susceptible, especially if they have diabetes, they've got heart conditions, their immune system has been compromised. Any thoughts on that and how to strengthen, even somebody who's in 85, 90 years old, how to strengthen their immune system today?
Yeah. So let me give you an overview, and then what I'm going to do is just take it right to like the most valuable information that you're going to get probably in this whole thing ever from any source. So I'm just going to really deliver. But
please,
first of all, understand that it's not uncommon, actually. That's normal during a bad flu season. I actually went and Googled headlines from 2018, 2019, and very common to see teen catches the flu and dies, or 20-something catches the flu and dies. So that's normal within the sort of the cause spectrum of the flu. It's not abnormal, so that we're seeing that with COVID-19. It's probably to be, within the realm of kind of what you see with the flu. But in terms of really protecting yourself, just under the assumption, let's assume everybody's going to catch it. What can you do? Let me give you what a couple of doctors have offered, and then I'll kind of give you what I'm doing. So what a couple
All right,
of doctors
we only have
offered,
a couple minutes left, so speed it up.
Okay, gotcha. No problem. So one quick suggestion is you want to attack the things that allow the virus to gain entry in the body. One of those would be there's a very specific molecule called interleukin-6 that flares up, and if you're going to have lung damage, you need to suppress that. An easy way to do it is there's an over-the-counter supplement called Mark Alyn that will effectively suppress a couple of the key enzymes needed and signaling molecules like interleukin-6 for the virus to proliferate. And it's something you can pick up, and that's like a very targeted approach.
Spell that for us, will you please?
Go ahead.
Can you spell that for us, the name of the supplement?
Yeah, BAICALIN. Another one is fucoidin, and fucoidin specifically suppresses interleukin-6. So that combination, bicalin and fucoidin, would be like a very high-level surgical strike to prevent a worst-case scenario. Now, keep in mind that's just what I'm doing for myself. Go talk to your doctor if you have any questions. It's not medical advice, but that's just sort of what I'm doing.
Got it. In our remaining couple of moments, because we have like a minute and a half left, are you going to the market on a regular basis yourself, or are you bringing food in? I tried to order food from 6 different markets, and they wanted 4 of them say they're not doing delivery and they're not doing pickup. The 2 that I did get to do it had a 6-day wait. What are you doing?
I'm just going to the market. I'm under the belief, personally, that there's a very good chance that a much greater number of people had this probably earlier in the year. And I'm really not that concerned about it. Like, if I catch it, I know enough to, manipulate my immune system. But that's what I'm doing. And everybody each, restricts according to their level of safety. So.
Joel, lots of great information. We just touched the surface. Let's do this again. If you want information on Joel, go to VEEPnutrition.com, VEEPnutrition.com, and you'll learn more about him. You can also go to latenighthealth.com, because Joel doesn't know it. He's going to send us a pretty picture of his face, a link, and we'll have a little article about Joel on latenighthealth.com. Be sure to go there. Lots going on, lots of information, even some videos up there too. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We will be back as Late Night Health continues. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audio book. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Greene, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, DARRELL WAYNE.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?